Good morning again. When we undertook to draw up the strategy roadmap for the Governance Commission, we came up with the realization that its mandate was so well expressed in the very official name of the law itself, of Republic Act 10149, which was to promote the financial viability and fiscal discipline among the GOCCs, and to strengthen the role of the state in the governance and management, and to make GOCCs more responsive to the needs of public interest. Pursuant thereto, Mr. Chairman, we did the strategy roadmap, where the vision was, as its social impact was seeing by 2020 a transformed GOCC sector, significantly contributing to the inclusive and sustainable economic growth and development of our country. Achieved by going into rapid, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth pursuant to the social contract of the President, and promoting good governance condition, usually found within the transparency seal of many of the GOCCs under our jurisdiction. And in the relatively short 3-year term of the Governance Commission, we have achieved most of our mandates. The most important ones would be the passing into law, so to speak, of organic documents upon which we now routinely oversee the GOCCs, namely the Ownership and Operations Manual for the GOCC sector, the Code of Corporate Governance for GOCCs, the Fit and Proper Rule, which has become the official yardstick in determining the fitness of those who are nominated for the GOCC governance boards. We have also institutionalized, and we're in the second year of running, the performance evaluation system for GOCCs, where we negotiate with them on a yearly basis their MFOs and their targets, and we come up with a performance agreement. We are now in the second year of the implementation of the performance evaluations of directors, upon which we determine whether they are fit to continue or to be reappointed to the board, and to make them more responsive to their duties as financial trustees of the government. We have implemented the whistleblowing system, and we hope to invigorate it over the years so that it truly becomes a manner by which we can oversee GOCCs. And we have rolled out the integrated corporate reporting system, which we hope to be in full blast by the first semester of 2015. And we have achieved certain governance gains in promoting the reforms within the GOCC sector. When the Republic Act 10149 was promulgated and we were constituted, we were given an official list of 157 GOCCs, of which 20 were excluded by express provision of the law. And during the years, we have discovered about 24 more GOCCs scattered all over. And we have come up with a working relationship with PCGG to retain those that were problematic and which they had better expertise to govern, about 13 GOCCs. And then we come up with a classification of those GOCCs that have in fact become inactive, non-operational, and classified or recommended for abolition about 12 more. So that today we have a current working operative GOCCs of 116. We've recommended 14 for abolition, and we've recommended 6 so far for privatization, Mr. Chairman. What our aim is, Mr. Chairman, is that we're hoping that by next year we would be down to about 88 robust and well-run GOCCs that can be the cornerstone, hopefully, of being able to promote a sovereign wealth fund by which the government can move forward.
Sir,
Yes.
before we leave that slide, can you run the computation by me? 157 minus 20 is 137.
Yes, Mr.
Idadagdag ko yung 24. Would that be correct?
150.
Plus 24. Di ba ba?
Opo.
So that's 161 minus 13 yung binigay nyo sa PCGG. Right?
Opo, Mr. Chairman.
Classified as inactive or non-operational, I will subtract that.
Yes.
from 148. That gives a total of 128. Classified as abolished or dissolved, ma-minus ko rin po yun.
Minus po ho yan, Chairman.
But these,
Inactive non-operational.
sinubtract ko rin yun, ma'am, but that's where my question lies. When you say classified as inactive, non-operational, have they actually been abolished and winded up?
Not yet, Mr. Chairman. They're there, and some of them are in the process of being formally abolished.
Shouldn't this still be under GCG until it is finally
They are, in fact, they continue to be on our list, continue to oversee them, and some of them we have recommended for official abolition below, Mr. Chairman.
yung classified as abolished and dissolved? Abolished, ED, meaning wala na to? Or in the process?
Ito ho, abolished na ito ho.
Yung 12.
Yung 12 are those that have been dissolved. In other words,
Wala na
they're in the
talaga. Liquidated, dissolved, liquidated.
Yes.
Sarado na ho yung libro.
We're overseeing them. There's liquidation is still being pursued in many of them, Mr. Chairman.
So technically, I can still add 32 to the 116 dahil, well, trabaho pa rin yung
Yes,
i-oversee.
we
yung
continue to
liquidation.
oversee them, Mr. Chairman.
So that gives you a total of 148. Minus 14 na ipapa-abolish nyo pa.
Yes.
Hindi ba? So by the end of 2015, unless ma-liquidate at ma-wind up na lahat yon, you will have 134. Minus yung mga mapa-finally liquidate, abolished, at
That's right,
wind up.
Mr. Chair. Yes.
Please proceed, sir.
How did you come to 88?
Oh, we looked at the whole inventory. There are a lot of
So
subsidiaries.
it is not a plus minus here, but a parang projection.
Yes.
Ideal is 88.
Ideal is 88 because two of the big GFIs,
Okay.
DBP.
So you're looking at
and-
consolidation.
Yes, Mr.
Not
Chair.
only abolition, but consolidation.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Like DBP and Land Bank, as,
That's right.
as was the plan for quite some time now.
Yes.
May I ask question?
Please, ma'am.
With regards to this list, how do you classify Philsocor?
Philsocor is a GOCC in
Oh.
the DA sector.
Yes,
Opo.
but if you look at the work of Philsocor, parang ano na, parang may SRA na eh.
Opo.
Tapos yung Philsocor was created during Marcos time because there are many problems sa mga mills. But now, I think it's over.
Yes.
They're on their own. They're private, and I think they can take care of themselves. So what's the role of Philsocor?
Philsocor acts like, to a certain extent, a GFI. What it does is to provide funds for the industry to be able to undertake certain projects. We actually discussed Philsocor and SRA quite recently, just last week.
Yeah.
Commissioner Butalit, sir?
Yes, good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Senator Villar. Actually, just last week, we discussed, the Philsocor board came in to GCG full force, and then they presented their performance agreement negotiation. During the negotiation, they admitted the fact that their mandate to give financing to sugar mills
Yes.
have already tapered off. But there's one significant work that they're doing now, Mr. Chairman, and I guess we need to discuss this further, because they have conducted actual pilot studies and pilot programs whereby they have consolidated black farms. And the performance of these black farms have been significant. In fact, one black farm in Batangas has achieved a 49% growth in productivity.
Yeah, but
but
their mandate is mills.
Yes.
So they
yes,
cannot
Your
just
Honor.
go to black farms
Yes,
because
Your Honor.
black farm is under DA, under DNR, and under SRA, because we're passing a sugar industry bill,
Yes, yes.
and that would take care of the black farms. We're going to establish a sugar industry fund for black farms. So I think we should clarify this, because I don't want na yung agency gulo-gulo nila. Because the mandate, I read the mandate because I want to know what's their role. And the mandate is explicit during Marcos time that they should take care of the mills which are having problems during that time. So if that mandate is finished, I don't think they can transfer to black farms kasi marami ng DA yung black farms, DNR and SRA. Parang gugulo. Kasi why are they there when their mandate is not about black farm, it's about sugar mill. So I think I don't have a final opinion here, but I find it confusing. So since we're passing the sugar industry bill, so we might as well clarify this para wala naman tayong hindi natin maintindihan, papasok pa sila, lalong gumugulo, may DNR na, may DA na, may
Well,
SRA na.
We'll furnish you with a copy of the
Yes, Your
bill
Honors.
so that you can go over it, and once it
Yeah.
is finally approved, so that you can consider and evaluate whether or not indeed the efficacy of this corporation is still there, the purpose is still there, or given the provision of the law
Yeah.
or the bill, kung dapat na rin siyang
Kasi yung-
pag-aralang i-abolish.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honors.
Kasi yung sa bill, very specific sa black farm. Di ba?
Yes,
And can you give me a copy of this recommended for privatization?
Ah,
And then recommended for abolition. I just want to see the list, no?
Okay,
We'll
please
certainly
do
take
so.
that into consideration, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Please proceed, sir.
And another question
yes.
is the whistleblowing policy. What is this? I cannot understand it. What is the whistleblowing policy?
Sometimes within the GOCC sector, Mr. Chairman, there are people who, in the front line or in the GOCCs, who are aware that there are certain shenanigans ongoing, but they're so afraid to officially
So you have a
complain.
program?
We have a program that
Okay.
allows them to actually complain.
Okay.
We've received a lot of feedbacks on this, and in fact, we're going through the GOCC sector, trying to inform the unions and people on how to best use it, so that they can still complain being anonymous in character.
So it's a program.
It's a program.
Okay, thank you.
Please proceed, sir.
The other gains, Mr. Chairman, would be in the performance of the GOC sector in terms of dividends remittance. Since the GOCC sector had been formally organized with the new administration, we have had an increase in participation from 2011 of only 35 GOCCs contributing dividends to 39 in 2012 to 38 in 2013, and we expect this to go on because of the way we conduct our performance agreement negotiations, where financial viability is one of them. And the compliance rate with many of those where before they used to just ignore the Bureau of Treasury and whether they declare dividends mandated by law or not, the compliance rate has increased from 2011 31%, 2012 52%, 2013 64%. In fact, it's one of the good governance conditions that unless GOCCs comply with their tax obligations as well as their dividends obligation, they're not in a position to declare dividends performance-based bonus to their officers and rank and file. So that has improved tremendously with with the 28 billion in 2011 being extraordinary. I think it settles down to about 24 billion every year. The other one would be on good corporate governance gains would be in the improved financial health. We have achieved a lower operational subsidies for GOCCs. In all of this, in many of the sectors as broken down in the slide, government financial institution have improved, have gone down.
Can you explain how do we interpret this? If you're from 28 to 45, what's the meaning?
Among the GFIs in 2012, the operational subsidies. There are two types of subsidies, Mr. Chairman. One is what we call operational subsidies. One that they use, government gives them a fund to operate in the regular course of business. And there are program subsidies or project subsidies where these are used to pursue economic development projects.
So how do you interpret the figures
So,
here?
dumami?
OPEX subsidies, 28 to 45, lumaki or lumiit?
Lumaki ho in 2013.
Okay.
Trade and development ho, lumaki. Culture, lumaki. But when,
Education and cultural, lumaki.
opo.
Gaming,
Gaming,
wala.
wala na subsidies.
Energy and materials, wala. Ano ibig sabihin nitong agricultural, fisheries, and food?
It used to be in 2012, the operational subsidies was 4.4 billion, and it has been reduced in 2013.
So this
to
is
200.
better.
Yes, Overall ho, the operational subsidies for the is down by
No, because I am
39%.
the chairman of Agriculture and Food. Can you send me a
The breakdown.
breakdown of this
Opo.
para lang for
This is
my
principally
info.
NFA,
And
NFA.
not necessarily. A big chunk of this is NFA.
Yes, ho.
Would that be correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yung binaba nito, so noong 2012 may malaking subsidy NFA, noong 2013 wala. So yung malaking chunk nito is because of the NFA.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I think there was less importation in
By government, ma'am.
2030 by government, but now we are importing a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So
2014.
I think it will grow in 2014.
So-
Can you give me an
We
update
will
on
submit
this?
a breakdown, Mr. Chairman.
While we're in this page, forgive me for the interruptions, Chairman. So across the board, it increased. Government subsidies increased across the board, except for, again,
Agriculture.
NFA.
Yes.
Without NFA, in fact, and we will be importing this year and next year, balik po tayo sa dati.
Hindi. Across the board, it's an increase. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Chair. I think if you extend the comparison to 2011, the trend 2010, you would notice that the increase has actually gone down, whereas before it was just a tremendous increase every year in all of the sectors.
The percentage increase has gone down, but
Yes.
it's still increasing.
It's still increasing because
Can you show us that? Siguro longer period of time kasi ito hindi mas magandang tingnan.
Give us the comparison, sir.
Oo.
we'll do the comparison.
Kindly submit
Maybe
that
you do 2009 kasi that's a different administration and then how you improved it.
Ah, sige.
When you, kasi kayo 2012 ba kayo nag-operate?
A latter part of 2011.
Oh, so para makita lang natin what
The improvements.
GCG has done, you know. And if the figure doesn't show na you are improving, maybe there's an explanation, so might as well give the
So what you're
explanation.
telling us is 2011 to 2012, the increase is bigger than 60% for GFIs. 2011 to 2012, the increase is bigger than 78.8% for trade, area development, and tourism.
Yes.
That's essentially.
We
Can you give us that table, sir?
we will show that. Mr.
Please, sir. Thank you po. Please proceed, sir.
Based on this, we have submitted to basically DBM our performance based budget based on on two important MFOs, corporate standard services. We do undertake at our risk, of course, the performance indicator of being able to implement already the compensational position classification system in 2015 because the government sector is really waiting for this implementation. And the second PI would be to implement the leadership management services, which is an integral part of our nomination and appointment,
Bigyan ko sila.
90%. Performance indicator number 3 is the
bill, yung law na nag-create ng field
full
support
implementation
para
of the
makita nila.
performance evaluation services by improving the scorecards of many of our GOCCs. The other one is the MFO2, corporate governance services. Our target is that we would be able to undertake with finality the decoupling, abolition, or privatization or merger of 11 GOCCs in the year 2015. That is broken down in the following slide, Mr. Chairman. We'll pursue the decoupling of GOCCs that have both regulatory and proprietary functions, namely CAAP, PAGCOR, LLDA, the Philippines Port Authority, MWSS, and NFA. We will pursue to further rationalize the GOCC sector. In other words, we will ensure that all GOCCs would have undertaken their rationalization or reorganization program to allow them therefore to accept the implementation of the CPCS, and which is slated for full rollout in 2015. And in 2015, we would have seen the full year application of the ICRS, which would allow both the GOCC and the public sector to be able to look at the operations of each GOCC, look at the compensation the compensation structure, be able to see the inventory and assets and to make robust the whistleblowing policy that we hope it becomes an effective sector for being able to instill discipline. We're asking for a budget of 102 million, 38.3%, 38% of which is for PS, 62% for MOOE, and a slight capital expenditure of only 396,000 pesos, Mr. Chairman. And the breakdown is found on the next slide, Mr. Chairman. It's we're increasing the budget slightly from the figure of 90 million from 2014. That's it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Senator Villar is recognized for interventions.
Yung ano, I noticed usually in a typical budget, the PS is bigger than the MOO. Yours is different.
Opo.
What is in the MOO that make it big?
Yun nga ho, per the literature that was given to us by DBM, one of our more important office would be the Office of the General Counsel. That's the one that really looks at
Yes.
the bills that are being presented, and it's the one implementing the whistleblowing policy. That had to be classified under MOOE rather than the
Is that the
operation.
policy that you don't hire permanent employees?
No, we do.
You subcontract some of your work?
No,
Kaya
no.
nasa MOOE.
Hindi ho, that's the literature given to us by DBM. Hindi daw ho sa operations ang
And how much is that?
how much is the
General Counsel.
kaya ho lumalaki ang MOOE
Yeah,
namin
yeah.
kesa sa
We're quite surprised kasi usually na typical budget, PS ang mas malaki, di ba? Unless may capital. Minsan kasi pinapasukan nila ng capital outlay eh. Oo.
hindi ho, we've more or less done our
Professional
capital
services is at 11 million.
So how
That's
much
the biggest
is that?
item there.
How much is that?
11 of the 62.
ito ho yung it's our legal services for 2014 is consult 6
Parang
6
20%,
million.
no?
6,330,000
62, no?
Roughly.
and other
So it
professional
brings
services
down.
would be 5 million
For a total of 11 million, roughly.
for a total of 11
So
million.
I think yun ang 20%. So parang
Yes.
PS din yun pero
Opo.
nilagay doon. So it will amount to yung ano nyo is 38 plus 20. Kaya yung PS nyo dapat 58 tapos yung ano minus 20, 41.
Yes.
That's a
Opo.
little better. Kasi
Opo.
usually ganun
It
yun
looks
eh.
better.
It looks better. Okay. We ano na approve?
Hindi naman.
I comment that.
Sir, just to ask, can you, for the record, mention ano itong inactive, non-operational na 20?
That's
Okay.
being winded up or liquidated.
We have an unofficial Annex A provision for that, so that we oversee them. We will now
Annex A.
get it, Mr. Chair.
Also, kung alin yung 12 na to be classified as abolished, dissolved, alin po yung 14
Na recommended for abolition. Just the list of those companies, sir.
Yung,
Dapat nilagyan nila ng annex yun.
in our Annex A, which we will give a copy to
Yeah,
the committee, Mr. Chairman, the ones that are classified as non-operational occupy 129 to 148. These are Anchor Estate Inc., Aviation Services Training Institute or ASTI, CDC Farms Corporation, Clark Polytechnic Development Foundation, First Centennial Clark Corporation, GSIS Mutual Fund Inc., GSIS Properties, Inter-Island Gas Services Inc., Land Bank Financial Services, Land Bank Remittance Company, Land Bank Singapore Representative Office, Land Bank Taiwan Representative Office, Manila Gas Corporation, which has officially ended its corporate life, Meatpacking Corporation of the Philippines, Pascuhan Development Inc., Philippine Centennial Expo 98 Corp., Philpost Leasing and Financing Corporation, Tierra Factors Corporation, PNCC subsidiary, Traffic Control Products Corporation, PNCC subsidiary, and Metro Transit Organization.
Sir, can you give us also the status of the winding up and/or liquidation or stage of abolition that these companies are in as we speak?
Yes, yes.
And the 12 abolished or dissolved?
The 12 dissolved are Bataan Technology Park Inc., Cottage Industry Technology Center, Human Settlements Development Corporation, PADC, Philippine Agriculture Development Commercial Corporation, NABCOR, National Agribusiness Corporation, ZNAC, or Zamboanga National Agricultural College, Rubber Estate Corporation,
ZREC.
ZIREC, San Carlos Fruits Corporation, Philippine Fruits and Vegetables Industries Inc., Southern Philippines Development Authority, Philippine Forest Corporation, PNOC Shipping and Transport Corporation.
Yan yung mga sikat na GOCC.
Opo. Lately we abolished opo yung HGC Subic Corporation, and lately we've had an approval of PNOC Development Management Corporation for abolition.
Sir, also the status of the abolition process of
Apo.
these companies. Recommended for privatization, ano po yung anim?
Yung recommended for privatization would be
GSIS.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Commissioner Ignacio, ma'am?
Mr. Chairman, those would be GSIS Family Bank, Al Amana Islamic Bank, and the NBC subsidiaries.
Question, ito bang mga to, yung mga assets niya, pag niliquidate, saan mapupunta?
Yung sa PNCC po,
As a general rule.
if they have a mother company, it's so easy.
It
The
will
mother
revert?
company just takes over them.
Pag wala po?
Pag wala po, it's the basically it's the supervising agency that takes over them to handle anything that they still have as part of the NG sector.
Yung mga recommended for privatization, dadaan ba to sa, ano nang pumalit sa APT natin?
PMO po.
PMO. Hindi dadaan sa PMO to.
Hindi ho.
It will be coursed through where?
Through us, basically,
Through
we'll
the
form
GCG.
yes. But one of the things that we want to do, Mr. Chairman, is that PMO knows how to dispose assets. So if there are assets that we will close down the GOCC, and if there's an asset for disposition, we can ask PMO to handle the actual disposition on a long-term basis.
As of now, I think I posed this question already, but I want to place it on the record. Anong classification ng IBC 13 sa GCG? Is it part of the 116? Is it part of the recommended for privatization? Nasaan po siya?
And as for privatization, Mr. Chairman, in fact, we just had a summit 2 weeks ago with the PCOO, with DBP, which is the advisor for privatization, as well as the board of IBC 13. They've come to a manner by which to be able to privatize it in spite of the fact that there are legal obstacles. They will isolate the legal obstacles.
Yung legal obstacle naman po yata nandun sa real estate
Opo.
portion eh.
Yes.
Not on the company and the assets of the station and the
That's right.
frequency of the station.
Yes, right.
But right now, they are still a GOCC.
They are GOCC, Mr. Chairman.
I ask this question, Mr. Chair, because we will be appropriating monies for IBC 13 to pay, by way of subsidy to GOCC, to pay for their unpaid SSS. Magulo nga eh. May SSS sila, may SSS premium sila, may GSIS pa rin na utang, and some employee benefits. So that, if it's still a GOCC, we can
Yes.
give a subsidy for it.
Yes.
Hindi pa naman po talaga na ma-privatize na.
Hindi pa ho. And we feel that by 2015, by next year, they will have come to a final privatization mode.
Now, next, sir. Yung 13 PCGG supervised, I have here the MOA between PCGG and GCG, dated, ano ba date ito? July 2013, July 4, 2013. It only lists 9 corporations.
Opo, Mr.
You made mention here of 13. Ano po yung balancing apat?
Yung IBC 13 used to be under them. By the time that was signed, they had excluded it.
Ano pa po? Yung balance.
Sure.
There are 4. 9 lang ang nandito. Ang nakalist sa inyo na PCGG supervised is 13.
Opo, nandito ho sa aming Paolo. Sa ano sa natin?
I think we should make a list na completely
We have a
supporting
list,
this
Apo.
and give us a copy, di ba?
Kindly
Sige ho.
submit. Ano po?
Nasa ano ho, it's in our list, but they're just shown as PCGG, and we will cover them.
Kindly unbundle it, sir, and
Yes.
submit that to us. Now, still on the PCGG list, sir, they are supervised by PCGG in accordance with your MOA with them.
Yes, well, yes, Mr. Chairman.
Pero yung pinipili ba nilang board of directors, nagko-comply dun sa fitness, ano yun? Fit and proper
They
rule?
actually have their own system. In fact, they're not even covered by our system of compensation per DM.
Why is that?
Mainly because they are governed, PCGG companies are governed by executive orders of long standing on how they're entitled to.
I agree, sir, but this is a later law. And a law will always supersede, as you know, any executive order on compensation. So fine, they're supervised by PCGG, but why will not the compensation package of directors in these sequestered companies not conform to GCG standards? I haven't read the MOA completely, but did you exclude that?
Yes, we didn't want to have, we wanted to be good neighbors with PCGG, in other words. So we built strong fence between us. And the strong fence is that our agreement is they continue to be under the supervision. They're the ones who do the policies and everything, so that in the future, if anything goes wrong, we don't get blamed for the things that
I agree, sir,
PCGG
but
does.
so many things have been going wrong with the PCGG for the longest time. They asked for this? The law did not exclude PCGG sequestered companies,
They
right?
did not. They asked for this.
PCGG asked this of you.
Yes, mainly because they were the ones who are deep into the litigation aspects of this. They
I
know
agree,
the
sir.
history.
Fine, sir, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about their compensation. Pinaghahati-hatian nila eh. They divide it amongst the direct, ano ba tawag sa PCGG, ano?
Commissioners.
Commissioners.
Uh-huh.
They allocate it amongst themselves. They sit in various boards. They receive double, triple, quadruple compensation from each board. What makes them so special and the other GOCCs not? Fine, I mean, may litigation sila, I understand that. I'm talking about compensation. That does not entitle them to a bigger compensation. Don't you agree?
Well, PCGG kasi ho has been in the scene longer than us, so of the 13 problematic ones,
Actually, masakit na ulo yun. Mas masakit nga ako yun. Mas matagal na silang na dyan. Tagal na nilang inaabuso yun eh. I mean, not necessarily the current chair, but to include him as well because the practice has been ongoing.
yes. We will be sitting down with with Chairman Andy Bautista this Wednesday, so we will bring this concern of the Senate to.
We will call to task the PCGG as well with respect to this because I don't see any reason why they should be exempted. Fine, I mean, give them the supervision. Sige, nandun ako, under litigation di ba?
Opo.
But the compensation package, the other policies of GCG should be made to apply to them as well.
Yes,
Please, sir, kindly get back to us on that.
we will, Mr. Chairman.
Discovered GOCCs, are there still some out there?
Siguro ho, kasi the last one that we discovered was Calawag.
When did you discover? When was the latest discovery?
The latest one would be LUMC, Mr. Chairman. This is the La Union Medical Center. It was organized as a GOCC, but has been under the direct supervision of the La Union government. In fact,
That is a law. A law established that.
it was organized, yes, and no matter how you look at it, it's a GOCC.
Yeah, but a law established that. I'm one of the authors of that.
That's right.
In the Senate, I remember that.
Ayaw ho nilang maging under ng Republic Act 10149.
That's one more question I'd raise. We did not exclude them either.
That's right.
Very much like the PCGG corporations. Is it up to them to say ayaw namin?
No, we're fighting them on that score.
When you say fighting them, you need to litigate?
No, we don't plan to litigate because they will be in a losing battle anyway, Mr. Chairman, because if the board wants to continue defying the provisions of 10149, they will now begin to get COA disallowances anyway. And then
So sooner or later?
they'll find themselves in hot waters. Even when they finish their stint as board of directors, they will continue to be hounded by this.
How will you reconcile the provisions of the law that created it? Di ba, may LGU representative, may private sector
Uh-huh.
representative from the LGU. How will you reconcile that with the provisions of the GCG law?
Right. We actually have a complete analysis and write-up on this, and we submitted it to them For example, Mr. Chairman, the provision of the law that allows a government, an elected local official to sit in the board is actually unconstitutional. Even if the law itself provides for it, it's unconstitutional as decided by the Supreme Court. And therefore, we told them that there are certain things that they cannot pursue. So if the chairman wishes, we will submit a copy of that,
Please, sir.
analysis that we submitted to them.
Kindly
Yes.
do so, sir. Now, just a few more points. On PCSO, I've been receiving conflicting reports. Ilan ba talaga director dyan?
Yes.
Can
I
you, has it been settled?
It should have been settled, but
No, but has it, when you say it should have been, meaning it's not yet?
it is settled para ayaw hong tanggapin kasi ng former chairman. Pero ngayon ho
So ano yung, what's the rule? How many directors does should PCSO have?
it should be 6 now.
Not 5.
By charter, it's 5, but because the Republic, our law says that the CEO becomes a member of the board, that and must be elected from among that.
The GM
The GM
is an automatic member of the board.
Yes,
So the charter says 5,
yes.
but but they say it also says that the GM is automatically a member of the board. So kasama ba yun sa 5 o dagdag yun sa 5?
Dagdag ho siya sa 5.
So you have 6.
We have 6.
So right now, given that the GM, who's a member of the board, is the acting chair, you have 1 vacancy in the PCSO as we speak.
Opo,
Kasi umalis lang naman si Margie.
opo.
Wala pang pumapalit.
May vacancy nga ho.
So that's final. It's 6.
That's final, 6 po.
On PAGCOR, you mentioned here decoupling. Obviously, PAGCOR is both an operator and a regulator.
Opo.
Do you plan to do it before the term of President Aquino ends, or would you rather give it to the next administration? Baka kasi ma-midnight kayo dito, ah.
That's right. Ang nangyayari ho sa PAGCOR, we're pursuing decoupling actually by de facto. And we do it through the yearly PAN. Ang nangyayari ho is, it is a regulator in the sense that it issues franchises to foreign investors, but it's also an operator because it operates its own casinos. What we do is we tweet their major final output to say that they have to start closing down casinos or privatizing them.
But yun,
And eventually, ho, they'll end up without casinos anyway.
actually, ang problema ko, sir, sayang eh. Instead of closing them down, they could have sold it. What PAGCOR is doing now is they're closing it down.
That's what we're trying to avoid, ho. We're trying to make sure that they
Di ba sayang?
operate them well and then set them for privatization.
In fact, bago sila nag-PAGCOR City, dapat binenta na muna nila lahat yan eh.
Yes,
Para na pagkakitaan pa
Oo.
ng gobyerno. Kasi pag tumayo na lahat yung PAGCOR City nila, mamamatay ng natural. They will all die a natural death.
Ang nangyari ho kasi, Mr.
because of
Chair-
that.
That's right. Ang nangyari ho, Mr. Chairman, is that the natural tendency to hold on to things that you can hold on, and they realized that when the PAGCOR City was formed,
Nalulugi na sila.
nalugi na ho sila. So
mali
they
nga eh.
realize nga ho now that they cannot, their success as regulators is just going to doom their commercial. So ngayon ho, nasunog na sila, they realize that they have to do it now. Rather than waiting for many of their branches to become, to lose, they're actually,
A first-year
setting them.
econ student could have told them that.
alam niyo naman ho, hanggang hindi masunog, hindi nila give up eh.
A private corporation would have done it
Yes.
in an instant.
Oo.
Di ba ma'am, gagawin niyo yun? Just a few more questions, sir. I know it may be measly, but can you tell us saan pupunta tong capital outlay yung 396,000?
Mr. Chairman, just a few more computers to complete the integrated corporate
Ano ma'am,
reporting
lahat ng
system.
CEO, tinatanong ko dahil konti nga lang. eh.
In fact, ho, mas malaki ang hinihingi namin pero we were asked to just do this.
Now, sir, same question as I asked DAP kanina. I refer you to page 966 of the NEP, volume 4. MFO 1, Corporate Standard Services, PS of 5,561,000. Can you give us the list of employees and positions na mabibigyan ito? I'm just doing a spot check, sir.
Aha.
And the MOE of 9,750,000 for MFO1. Can you give us a breakdown of that too?
Opo. We will do that.
Kindly submit that, sir. Para matingnan lang ng office namin at ng staff.
Our advantage, Mr. Chairman, is that we've organized the various offices under directorship to precisely perform certain items. So we more or less, we try to do our best to try to divide them into the MFOs. But like you, it's a difficult process. Sometimes we just guesstimate, Mr. Chairman. But we will submit that. We have the breakdown, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, kindly submit that to us, sir. Now, yung professional services na tinatanong ni Senator Villar kanina, 11,652,000. This is basically for,
For the Office of the General Counsel,
So we engage the services of external counsel.
we sometimes when they cannot be, we ask for a plantilla revision to increase our General Counsel's office. When we can't, we get them under contracts of services, Mr. Chairman.
Rent lease of 1.440. Where will this go, sir?
Those are the parking spaces that we are renting for.
And the office space? No.
No, the
It's too
office
small
space.
for the office space.
We
You
have
own the office space, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So
It's
parking lang to?
parking and the copying machines. We don't buy them, Mr. Chairman, so that we don't take the cost.
We do too. Membership dues and contributions to organizations, 4.613.
That's the condominium corporation, Mr.
Ah.
Chairman. Yes.
Ito yung condominium corporations, not in any international or local organization.
No, not yet, Mr. Chairman. We hope to be part of OECD.
Now, one final point, sir. For the record, ano ulit yung rules sa allowances ng GOCCs, ng director? No double compensation for sure,
Opo.
right? What about amounts or ceilings? You have that policy, right?
Yes, it's still in place. Executive Order number 24, issued by the President, still in place.
SOOKs were excluded from the coverage of the GCG.
Yes, Mr.
Right.
Chairman, expressly.
So, I'll give you my dilemma. Pced has been assigning, you were once chair, Pced has been assigning its commissioners to sit in the boards of various SOOKs, 111 SOOKs, hati-hati sila. And SOOKs give per diem or whatever for each meeting. For their quarterly meetings. And Pced commissioners parcel this out amongst themselves. Tigda 20, essentially tigda 20 nga sila. I find that an exception to the rule really, given that, correct me if I'm wrong, even secretaries in an ex-official capacity
Cannot receive.
who sit in a board cannot receive.
They cannot.
Di ba? Why is Pced an exception?
I think it's because even EO
Malilit lang to, mama. I mean,
No, there are series of disallowances
Ng COA?
kami lahat na naupo. So, nagbabalik kami ngayon ng pera.
why were they disallowed?
Sabi ng COA, why will you quarrel with COA? Di
Oo nga,
balik
oo.
mo na lang.
Even
The
who yung-
problem is for those who have spent the money, like yung mga simple tao na naupo lang doon, and they
Opo.
spent the money already, they're having a hard time paying it back. But there are a series of disallowances.
Yung members of the board na iba. But this one, di ba, correct me if I'm wrong, secretaries who sit in an ex-official capacity in a government corporation cannot receive.
They cannot hold.
Additional
That's an absolute
compensation, di
ban.
ba?
Opo.
But what about this one? SOOKs aren't covered by GCG, but it's basically the same.
Yeah, oho.
May nakaupo doon na NEDA, hanggang NEDA, and then
Agriculture, pag
OSD, pag technical, tapos pag agriculture, DA, regional director, yung mga
so they
ganon.
receive. Hindi sila covered?
Unfortunately, we do not wish to express any opinion because they're really outside of our coverage. And
Sir, the SOOKs are outside of your coverage.
yes,
But the government functionaries should be, given the policy that they cannot receive
they
Diba?
should not.
additional compensation.
Lalo ho yung cabinet members, the constitutional ban is almost absolute, Mr.
Well,
Chairman.
ang nakalagay po na member, correct me if I'm wrong, ma'am, is ang nakalagay pong member doon is the secretary, or in this case, the Pced chairman for SUKS.
Uh-huh.
Sa agriculture, it's the secretary actually. Kaya lang nirepresent siya ng regional director. Sa NEDA, cabinet rank din yon, it's the secretary. Kung DOST, it's the secretary too, but he assigns or designates a regional director too. So shouldn't they be covered as well?
They should be covered. In fact, even Executive Order number 24 did not included SOX into the limit.
Alam mo, dapat i-clarify yun para kung hindi natatanggap, wag na lang kasi dinidisallow after and that's the problem. Where will you get the money to pay it back?
Perhaps, Chairman, can you coordinate with either the Office of the Executive Secretary or perhaps GCG can issue a
We will
clarificatory
coordinate with the
guideline?
Office of the Executive Secretary. They oversee the SUC's.
A clarificatory guideline that they are covered. Again, citing the concern of Senator Villar na baka ma-disallow lang din at dinidisalaw na nga daw. Pati sila pinapabalik yung pera. Might as well clarify it early on para hindi na sila mag-abono.
False expectations.
Oo nga ho.
Please, sir.
Opo.
Condition
We will
upon
do
the
that.
submissions requested for by the chair and Senator Villar. Senator Villar, you have a motion?
I move for the approval of the budget of GCG.
So moved, there being no objection, the same is hereby approved. The proposed budget of GCG for 2015 is now submitted, is hereby ordered to be submitted to plenary for its deliberation and final approval. So ordered. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you
Magandang umaga po.